Welcome students to this week's Spelling Netcast. Before we begin, let's make sure we have all of the items present and ready to be used. If you do not have any of these, then you need to pause the video and go get them. Alright, pencil to write with, glue stick to glue your heading in, scissors to cut with, Ziploc bags to store your word chips in, your journal to write everything down in, and of course, spelling list for this week. Again, sort 8. This is the blue group. This week's words are called unusual plurals. Plural means more than one. Okay, and these are the words, so you can take a look at them, see what you're dealing with. Alright, let's go ahead and start cutting. Again, make sure you have all your items. Alright, let's go ahead by taking the heading and let's put some glue on the back of it and let's get it set in place. Again, the heading helps us to stay organized. Know what we're doing. Alright, put it at the top, put a little pressure on it, make sure it's secured in there, and let's go ahead and begin. Alright, this week we're dealing with unusual plurals. Now, when we look at plural words, most of the time when we're dealing with regular plural nouns, all we're doing is just adding an S. For example, if we have car and we want to make it plural, all we would do is add an S. Those are regular plural nouns, but in English, we have what's called irregular plurals, or unusual plurals. And this is what we'll be dealing with today, are these unusual plural nouns, or these irregular nouns. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our first exemplar, which is FE, and we have this little symbol here. And that means that we're just going to change the FE in the word to VES. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to draw a little line down as such, and that's going to help me to recognize the change. For example, here we have the word wife, and this is going to change. We have W-I-F-E, and we're going to change the F-E from wife, which is singular, to plural. And so we're going to go W-I. That's going to stay the same. The F-E is going to be changed to V-E-S. So it's going from wife to wives. Okay, this is a little irregular. It's unusual. All right. So we've got those taken care of. Let's put them out of the way, and then let's go ahead and look at our next exemplar, which is vowel change. So let's write vowel change. Vowel change. Now let's take a look at some words that might fit this category. And a good example is foot. Again, I'm going to draw a little line down here to help me separate the difference between the two. If we look at foot, we know that foot is singular. It's one of those things that help us to walk, right? And then when we make a plural, we don't just add an S and say foots. That would be incorrect, wouldn't it? So we would change foot to feet. There's no VES like we changed over here under this exemplar, but at the same time it looks different. We changed the vowels, didn't we? We changed the vowels from OO, double O, to double E. Alright? That's the vowel change exemplar. And then we have one that's called no change. No change. No pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. Oh, just kidding. That's the wrong kind of change, isn't it? Alright. So when we look at a word that has no change from singular to plural, a good example would be sheep. Okay? It could be singular, it could be plural. Either way, there's just no change. And there's a few of those, or a couple of those, in this week's list of words. Oh, let me move this over here. Wow, that was kind of weird. Sorry about that, everybody. I thought it was right on. I'm looking at the actual book, and I'm not looking at the iPad to make sure everything is looking good. So, hopefully, as I was explaining that, you guys were kind of following along. So, again, this last exemplar is no change. And when we look at the word sheep, it could be singular, it could be plural. And we can't do that with the other ones. And again, there's only a couple of those no change words in this week's list. So, all right. So I've given you an example of the FE to VES. From the example was wife, one wife, to multiple, which would be wives, more than one. And then we have vowel change. That goes from foot, 1 foot, to 2 feet. And then we have the no change. So go ahead and continue and finish. Remember, students, it's important that you do another lay-in, say, after you complete this assignment right here. So you'll keep your exemplars laid out, but you'll mix up your word chips, and then either down below or on the other page, you will do another lay-in, say. And remember, students, that because we're asking a lot of you tonight, which is Monday night, right? Because you're doing the video and you're doing another lay-in, say, and you're writing them both, we don't expect you to do the vocabulary tonight or the word squares. We'd like you to hold off and do that tomorrow night. All right? Okay, guys. Go ahead and finish. All right, by now you've finished, and Mr. Powell would like to remind you guys to keep track of your word chips, because tomorrow night, Tuesday night, you guys are expected to do another lay-in, say, and a couple timings, speed sorts, right? And so you'll just write down your times. You don't have to write those down again. Just do your lay-in, say, write them, and then just write down your speed sort times. But again, you have to keep track of the word chips, so make sure each time you do an activity, you put them back in your Ziploc bag. All right, we expect great things of the Blue Group. So go Blue Group, get your stuff done, be prepared, you're awesome. See you soon.